Welcome to 369 Learn Maths.
Looking at significant figures, you want to remember these 5 rules. All non-zero digits are significant. And when we say non-zero digits, we are talking about the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 appearing in numbers as digits. So remember, all non-zero digits are significant. Zeros between 2 non-zero digits are significant. So in these examples, we have 2 zeros in the first one appearing between 2 non-zero digits, 3 and 2. So in this case, we have 5 significant figures. Remember, non-zero digits are significant. In the second example, again, we have zeros appearing between non-zero digits. They are significant. So in this example, we have 7 significant figures. Leading zeros are not significant. Yes, they are what we call placeholders. When we look at the first example, this number has only 3 significant figures. Why is that? The zeros at the beginning, we call them leading zeros. They are not significant. They are just placeholders. Should we remove any of them, the place value of each of these significant figures or digits will change. So example 1 has 3 significant figures, the 3 non-zero digits, 5, 1, and 2. So again, example 2 has 4 significant figures. The fourth rule is trailing zeros to the right of the decimal are significant. Let's look at the first example, 3.200. The 2 trailing zeros are to the right of the decimal point, and so therefore they are significant. So we can say that we have 4 significant figures in this number. What about the next one? 971.00. Again, the 2 trailing zeros are to the right of the decimal point, and so therefore they are significant. So we have 5 significant figures. In example 3, the trailing zeros are to the right of the decimal point, so therefore they are significant. Along with the non-zero digit 5, we can say that we have 5 significant figures in this number. And to the final example, for the 0 at the end, the trailing 0 to the right of the decimal point, we say that it is significant. So in this number, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 significant figures. So for the same reason that this 0 was not significant, these zeros are not significant. They are leading zeros. So for the final rule, trailing zeros in a whole number with the decimal shown are significant. And of course it means if the decimal point is not shown, then they are not significant. How many significant figures are there in each of these examples? Example 1, the decimal point is shown here. And so we say that these are trailing zeros. They appear at the end of the whole number. And so therefore, they are significant. And so therefore, we know that we have how many significant figures? 6 significant figures. All non-zero digits are significant. So 1, 2, 3 significant figures. And these 3 are significant. So we have 6 significant figures here. So next, 369,000 has how many significant figures? 6 or 3 significant figures. If you said 6, that's not correct. However, if you said 3, then you are correct. This number has only 3 significant figures. Why is that? These are trailing zeros, yes, but we have no decimal point at the end, so they are not significant. So this number has only 3 significant figures. And utilizing the concept explained for these two, how many significant figures did you arrive at for this last one? 6 or 3 significant figures? Yes, you got it. 6 significant figures. So just a quick revision. When the decimal point is shown, the zeros are significant. The trailing zeros in a whole number are significant. as in the first and the third example. But in the second example, these trailing zeros in the whole number are not significant because they're not followed by a decimal point. So let's test your understanding. Round to 5 significant figures. So we have this, and I want you to pause the video and try. Going from left to right, we identify the significant figures. Now, are these zeros significant? Yes, they do appear in between two non-zero digits or significant figures, so they are significant. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To this digit, we have 5 significant figures. Now we did ask ourselves, do we maintain this 0 or do we add a 1? Well, we always look at the very next digit to see if it's 5 or more, we add a 1. If it's less than 5, we maintain this 0 as 0. So basically we're going to write from 3 up to this 0 as our answer. But let me ask you, which of these is the correct answer? Is it this A or this B? But remember, trailing zeros in a whole number will only be significant if there's a decimal point at the end. So therefore, this will be wrong because we don't have a decimal point at the end. These are trailing zeros at the end of a whole number. So this is incorrect. This would be the correct answer. We have 5 significant figures. Now let us review the concepts by working out these 5 questions. It reads, correct the following numbers to the required significant figures as indicated in brackets. The 3 zeros at the beginning, these are placeholders. They are leading zeros. They are not significant. First non-zero digit is the first significant figure. So we count 1, 2, 3. This 0 appears in between 2 significant figures, or non-zero digits, so it is significant. And so we start from the 2 up to the 0. So these are our 3 significant figures. However, because we're looking at rounded, we'll check the very next digit. If it's 5 or more, we add 1. If it's less than 5, we don't. We're going to add 1 to the 0. So, in fact, what we'll have is 0.00251. We have to ensure that we put back these zeros because remember they are placeholders. We want the answer to be very close to the original number. So we have to put back the zeros. Even though they're not significant, we put them back. But however, when we look at this, we can see that this number has 3 significant figures. And so this is our answer. Next, we want 4 significant figures. Again, we start with the first non-zero digit as our first significant figure, and we count to the right. So we have 1, 2. These zeros are in between significant figures or non-zero digits, so they are significant. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4. So we start from here to here. And again, the 4th significant figure, we check the very next one, and it's 8, which is over 5. So we add 1 to the 0. And so this will be equal to 2501. Now, the value of this 2 is 200,000. The value of this 2 is just 2,000. So what we need to do, we need to ensure we replace these 2 digits with zeros. And so the place value has been maintained. So we can see that these 2 zeros at the end, they are not significant. They are placeholders. If I put a point at the end, they'll become significant, but we don't want to do that. We simply rounded off this number to 4 significant figures. Alright, so next we're looking at number 3. We want 2 significant figures. Now we'll start with the first non-zero digit, which is 2. And the very next digit is a non-zero digit as well, so it is a significant figure. So we have 1, 2. And we're only looking at these 2. Now, once we identify the required significant figures, look at that last one, and then we check the very next digit next to it. If it's less than 5, we maintain. As we can see, we're going to maintain it as 6. If it was 5 or more, we add 1 to it. So this will actually give us 2 maintaining the 6, so we have 2, 6. Again, we need to change or replace these two last digits with zeros so that we maintain the place value or the value of these two digits. Okay, number 4, are these zeros significant? Yes, because they are trailing zeros and they are to the right of a decimal point, so they are significant. So in fact, this number has 4 significant figures, but we only want 3, so therefore we'll only write up to this 0. So we're going to start from the beginning, however, because we need the placeholders to maintain the place values of the digits. For example, this 8 is in the 1000th place because this is 10, 100th, 1000th. So we want to ensure that we maintain the place values, so we ensure we write the placeholders, our leading zeros. They're not significant. Write our first significant figure, then our second, and any 0 after that will be significant. So we only want 3 significant figures, so we only put 1 0. And of course, we check the next one. Of course, the next one would have been just 0, so we maintain the 0 as it is. So this number has 3 significant figures. Okay, so on to the last one. 250.3 to 3 significant figures is equal to, now we look at the first non-zero digit, which is 2, and we count after that 1, 2, 3. Now this 0 appears between 2 significant figures or non-zero digits, so therefore it is significant. So we count 1, 2, 3, so this 0 is our third significant figure. And so writing from the start up to 3 significant figures, we have 1, 2, 3. Alright, so what do we do here? Do we leave it as it is, or do we put a point? If you say we put a point, then you're correct, because if we don't, then the 0 would not be significant. It will be a trailing 0 without a point at the end. Trailing zeros at the end of a whole number without a decimal point are not significant, but trailing zeros at the end of a whole number with a decimal point are significant. So it's important to put a decimal point so that this trailing 0 at the end of a whole number is significant. So we have 3 significant figures. So how many of these did you get correct? Please share in the comment box below. Alright, so let's recap with these 3 examples. Let's identify the leading zeros. These are the only leading zeros of the 3 numbers. They are not significant. What about the trailing zeros? Yes, so these are our trailing zeros. All the zeros at the end of these numbers are trailing zeros. Are they significant? Well, it depends. Are these significant? Yes, these are significant because they're to the right of a decimal point. These trailing zeros are not significant. Why aren't they significant? Because they are at the end of a whole number without a decimal point. And in this case, these trailing zeros are significant because they are at the end of a whole number with a decimal point at the end. And looking at our in-between zeros, they're all significant. Now let's look at the number of significant figures these numbers have. This number has 8 significant figures, and this number has 5 significant figures. This number has 6 significant figures. And so this has brought us to the end of this video.